medium to like change your like fiat currency, right?
It's actually used to stabilize the finance segment.
A digital currency that's pegged to the value of an underlying asset. Could be currency, could be some real assets.
I'm very amazed by how many people actually pretty accurately know what a stablecoin is. Hi, my name's Raagulan Pathy. I'm the Vice President for Asia Pacific at Circle, better known for USDC. And today you're watching Coinlive's Blockbuster.
I know some.
I know Bitcoin, and yeah, I think the main function for crypto is to make people earn money or lose money very fast, and for criminals to transfer their money. That's all I know.
For me, I don't really know about it. I think I've heard of some people who like lose money very fast to keep crypto.
Day to day, it's a little bit about, you're hearing about people making money from crypto, maybe a bit of speculation. These answers are pretty normal considering that.
I thought it requires like you to mine crypto, so it's like there's a complicated and electricity consuming process. So not in my house.
I was really into it across the past 1-2 years until FTX collapsed.
Yeah, so I used to own Bitcoins, but however after that it was just a small amount, and then now I've stopped playing that for quite a bit. Yeah, but I'm exploring the NFT side of things now.
I don't feel like I am knowledgeable enough to start investing in crypto, so no, I do not yet.
Yeah, I think the thing is that it's very normal for people to understand crypto in the way that that they see it day to day, and I think in this case, mostly university students and mostly in Singapore, right? And also like there's not the deep day to day like use cases where you need crypto to be able to move money around and do day to day things. So sometimes it does have, like rightly or wrongly, a negative view from people about whether it's used for criminal activities or other things. I don't necessarily wish we had those answers, but it's not necessarily typical of like what we see.
It's basically sort of a digital currency that's pegged to the value of an underlying asset. Could be currency, could be some real assets.
I think it's a kind of coin that pegged with the like euro, dollar, and gold or other assets to make the coin be stable.
I think it's just like US dollar is a world currency in crypto world.
It provides that sense of like stability, right? Because it doesn't really like move too much in value. It's the easiest way for me and the lowest fee for me to convert my fiat currency or cash to it. So that's the main one that I use.
That was the university test. I'm very amazed by how many people actually pretty accurately know what a stablecoin is. Obviously, being in the industry, I would give an answer that is a little bit more in-depth, but like their understanding is not too far off. A stablecoin is something that's pegged one for one with an underlying asset, ideally just like one underlying asset, not like a mixed bundle of underlying assets. The one that we build is USDC, and that's underpinned one-to-one with the US dollar. Compared to the answers earlier on like what are the use cases for crypto, people's understanding of stablecoins is relatively solid.
Is it to like exchange like real, currency, into cryptocurrency?
I want to store the value and to maybe can protect from the inflation. And you?
I have no idea.
It's increasingly become a platform for people to get access to US dollars who don't traditionally have US dollars as a hedge against inflation. We're very lucky here in Singapore, we don't have this problem, but many countries in the world that don't have stable currencies, and they are really hunting for a stable coin so they can swap their current currency for something. Realistically, they're trying to swap it for US dollars, but because of where they live, they don't have access to a bank account. So it makes it much easier for them to have, for example, a wallet and hold USDC that effectively replaces a bank account and US dollars.
You don't need to go to the bank to buy that. You can register account and then put your money to anywhere, anytime.
Perhaps they don't have access to USD.
Based on my experience, it's more of to reduce the number of problems when it comes to trading, when it comes to paperwork, etc. Having that USDC allows you to actually remit, transact using a digital platform and reduce the man days, man hours, whatever you call it. For example, if let's say I'm gonna remit some currencies to maybe my relatives overseas, it can be done easier.
Once again, I'm pretty surprised by the quality of the answers. I think across a few people hit on many of the use cases. Firstly, like the most like obvious thing for a stablecoin is that people want to participate in the crypto economy, whether that's in trading of cryptocurrencies, whether that's in DeFi. There's many countries in the world, especially emerging markets, some very prominent economies where people are looking for a stable currency to hold. The ability to have a stable currency like the US dollar, have a wallet which replicates a bank account, and then being able to move it from one person to another in seconds at almost no cost. Currently, people are paying between 0.5% up to 3-4%. In some emerging markets, I've heard people paying up to 15% just to move currency around. With the blockchain technology and stablecoins, you could be doing that for almost no cost. And that ultimately, I think, is the greatest use for, is the ultimate use case for stablecoins.
Theoretically, it should be, but then again, like as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have the means to defend that peg, then eventually it will not be what could be more or less, I guess, yeah.
I think maybe 95% is the $1, but also the market can be influenced to any big event, such like SVB.
USDT is always $1.
False, I would say. There's minor movements to it.
Yeah, I would suppose it would be. It should stay that way so that actually it creates sort of like a frictionless transaction for people to move from USD to then now using USDC, in my opinion.
So I think most people had the right answer. Stablecoin, unfortunately, because of some people who used that term before, especially algorithmic stablecoins, got a little bit of a bad name. And I think for you to call it a stablecoin, you have to back it one for one with a single asset only, not a mixed pool of assets. For us, for USDC, we always back it one for one with a US dollar. So yes, it is true.
Probably they have some reserve.
I'm guessing that they do manage the supply demand of the currency itself by either buying up more of the currency using USD itself, using the USD reserves, or selling it.
I think maybe it's just like the fixed exchange rates.
Someone just buy or sell the currency in the market to control the price.
I think the investors' emotions, right, will affect the coin quite greatly also. Because I think it's a lot of like the retail investors holding it also, yeah.
Good variety of answers there, but I think the simple answer is that with Circle directly, if you bring, for example, $1,000 and you've got a Circle account, we will mint you 1,000 USDC. So we are always backing it one for one. We provide a lot of assertions as to what we do with that. It's a mixture of cash and treasuries. What we don't control, though, is how USDC gets traded on third-party markets. What I mean by this is that there's cryptocurrency exchange, for example, right? And on that exchange, there's always going to be a slight difference between the amount of demand for buying and selling. And this can result in like micro differences from the exact peg. These are just differences in like demand and supply on a cryptocurrency exchange.
It depends how much money I have there. Cause like I was told like you need to invest the amount that you're like willing to lose lah. So if it's not like my entire life, probably won't withdraw that. Since it's supposed to go back to $1, right?
I will move to another stablecoin. Like if I see this stablecoin move too much already, but if let's say it really depeg very quickly, right, I'll move it to the next most stable coin that I think it is lah. If I still have my FTX account lah, but so
when you're seeing a stablecoin depeg or there's market movements, it's understandable that people want to know what's happening, right? And ultimately, like sometimes there's like certain very large-scale, unpredictable events, especially when they come on a weekend, that's hard to control, that creates like fluctuations in trading. Often that will also happen when there isn't much liquidity in a market, for example, right? Suddenly there might be like a rush of people trying to sell. It's understandable that some people want to de-risk a little bit. I think they're very typical answers. And you know, we certainly can't tell people, you know, what they want to do. What we can do as a company is like always be extremely transparent, even during like the recent sort of depegging event of USDC. You know, our first and foremost objective as a company is to always be transparent, whether that news was taken positively or negatively by a market. On the rare times it does depeg per se on these third-party markets, firstly and foremost, like, you know, we have a Twitter account from which, you know, we publish live updates. I would say that come to us to have the real truth on exactly what the situation is or why there might be a depeg, etc. I'm not in the business of telling people what to do with their money or how to manage their risk, but in any case, if there is an event, our, you know, biggest form of communication is through our Twitter account, and so you can always come there for like real honest information directly from us. You can also follow me on Twitter because I don't have enough followers. So. Thank you for watching Coinlive's Blockbuster. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.